Level up, 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 level up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. Level up, 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 level up. All this stuff is so yummy. All this stuff so yummy. Know you want this yummy. Yummy all your time. Level up, 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 level up. All this stuff is so yummy.
Girl, we are leveling it up. Welcome to Take Center Stage, as featured in the Own It magazine. My name is Marisa Bluedorn, and I am your host. And with me is my sister friend, Angela A-Love Lewis, the best-selling, multi-best-selling author and visionary author, anthologist. Welcome to Take Center Stage. We are here tonight to talk about your upcoming release. I Am a Woman Empowered Too.
Yes, I'm so excited, Marisa. You know, I love it, love it, love it whenever I come in here on the On It platform, because y'all know, you see how she has the energy. You see how she just has it all together. She is hype. Listen, that is what we love to do. And that's what it means to be fierce, fabulous, and free, living your best life unapologetically. Yes.
Unapologetically. And I'm coming to you live from the Dominican Republic. I'm so glad to be in the house, international. So, girl, we are doing the darn thing. When you say a woman empowered, and you know what, Angela, I think that God sometimes, when we're paying attention to him, he really shows us some things. And I can remember I was repositioning. I'm doing the Own It magazine, and I'm repositioning, trying to refresh the author section of the magazine where my books are listed. And I said, oh my God, one of my Words to Inspire You series is called Empowered. And I was just like, oh my God. I said, listen to that. So I Am a Woman Empowered. Talk to us about what that really, really means, Angela. Because a lot of times people are so busy saying things, but do they really, really understand what goes behind those words? Words can be powerful when they're implemented.
Absolutely. So let me say this. When we're talking about empowerment, at the end of the day, you guys know there's always someone out here who is talking about motivation and inspiration and encouragement and all of those things. And so when we talk about empowerment, yes, there are people out here who, you know, can inspire and empower you. But at the end of the day, empowerment starts with you. That means having a mindset of being able to make decisions that are in your best interest and knowing that you deserve it and you have the right to do so. A lot of times, you know, we see things happen and we feel disempowered, meaning we feel like we don't have a say-so, or we can't make any moves, or we can't, you know, take control of our lives. And really, when you say take center stage, that's being empowered, because that means that you know you are fearfully and wonderfully made, because your Father in heaven created you. And because as such, that gives you permission to step into the arena and be all that you were destined to be. You don't have to ask people permission, because you create yourself a lane where you know that you deserve to have a seat at the table. And if they don't want you there, then create your own. We are in a place where that can happen. And so for a lot of people, I think we wait around on people to make decisions for us. Well, when you're empowered, you don't wait. Now, you give people a courtesy, but you don't wait. You know, if it means that you have to go it alone and you have to go afraid, then you do that. If it means that you are the one that has to call the shots, then guess what? Make an executive decision, because bottom line, even if you think you quote unquote fail, failure is really a lesson that allows you to see the next best move that you should make. And then you take that in consideration and then you make it. So when it comes to being empowered, what is that? That is you taking charge of your life, living it to the best of your ability, living and taking advantage of the gifts and the skills that God gave you, and saying that, you know what, it's okay for me to make some moves. And I don't have to be a people pleaser. I don't have to go around and, you know, be fearful of what other people think or say. If God gave me the authority to do so, then guess what? That dominion is here for me to move accordingly. And that's what it means to be empowered.
It means to be empowered, right? To own it.
To really own it.
Own it. And then really, and what's also important about being empowered, and being empowered doesn't mean become narcissistic, where it's all about you. So there's always a balance to empowerment. There's always a balance to confidence. I just want to add to the screen our girl, authoress Michelle Kane, girlfriend, love you, miss you so very much.
Hey,
Um,
Michelle.
yeah, in the family. Yes, she absolutely agrees. Webb Wesley, when are we going to meet, bro? And so thank you so much for chiming in, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, to be balanced, because as we rise up, there is that temptation to become full of ourselves. So to
Mm-hmm.
really be empowered is to also be mindful of the balance, that to remain humble as you grow, as you rise up, to keep that
Right.
level of humility and humbleness and balance. And then also know that when you become empowered, you should have a heart that goes back and, like you're doing with your projects, with your anthology projects, is going back and getting others. And you know, the biggest thing that I always say about you, Angela, and I know it's like, okay, stop stalking me, but it's like I love to see how you keep these women together, you know, in the support network that you create, the sisterhood that you create, that we don't see on a regular basis. And I know that that leadership does not come without challenges. So, as an anthologist, share some of how you, some tips for, as a woman being empowered, how do you overcome? Like, because let me tell you something, there's a lot of glory, but there's a lot of hidden stuff in the
Yes.
story, right?
Yes.
That we have to overcome in the background, because there's many
Mm-hmm.
people that want to talk a good game, but they may not have all the facts. So how do you overcome the challenges and persevere through it?
So let me say this. When you just spoke about not being narcissistic and not making it all about you. First and foremost, when you are blessed, then you should turn around and be a blessing. Period. And whatever you're doing, it has to be that you have a heart for other people. And you have to learn, if you're going to be a leader, you have to also know how to serve. You have to also know how to reach back and help someone else who may not be where you are. Because, see, empowerment is a mindset. And when you're getting into situations where you are trying to help people to tell their story, because I firmly believe everyone has a story, period. If you've lived life, then you have a story to tell, because it was something that allowed you to get to where you are. And it's not been all peaches and cream and roses and all of that. It has been a struggle. It's been hardships. For some people, it's been a lot of trauma and drama. And so you take all of those things, and because it's all been put together, it's made you who you are. With that being said, when you are trying to put things together like this, these type of projects, and you become a project manager, just like with anything else, you have to look at the totality of who that person is, and why they feel like that. So for me, it's been so powerful and so enriching reading people's stories, because they give you an insight as to why they're like they are. So now you can take with a grain of salt when you see someone who may be a little timid. Well, maybe they weren't included in circles. Maybe they were rejected. Maybe they were, bullied. Maybe some things were going on that causes them to kind of be a little slow about giving you their trust. And so with that, you have to be consistent and let them know that you're there for them, and you're not going to abandon them like other people have.
Right.
For other people, you have to look at it that they're overachievers, and so they don't have the patience, or they don't have the ability to kind of wait on everybody else. It's just like, okay, my stuff is in, I pay my money, I've done this, I've done that, what is everybody else waiting on? But you have to temper and balance that and let them know that, hey, it's in God's timing, period. And so sometimes deadlines may not be met, but it's because some things have happened, and you don't have to share all of the intricate details, but you have to let people know that, what, it's going to be okay. And when it comes out, it's going to be the right time, because somebody is waiting on it. And when they receive it, it's the right time. Because, what's the thing they say, God may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. You have to trust that process, and you have to believe that even if something seems like a setback, delayed is not denied. It doesn't mean it won't happen, but bide your time and understand that while you're waiting, be in the background bossing up. Be in the background making sure your stuff is together. Be in the background being intentional and strategic about your next move. Because what I found out, Marisa, is that a lot of times people who are in such a rush and such a hurry, when the time comes for them to blow up, they're not ready. So a lot of times when we're rushing, we need to be laying this solid foundation. We need to make sure that, we're taking the steps we need to make sure we're good. So then when the opportunity comes, what they say, when you get ready, you can stay ready, right? You don't have to stay ready. You don't have to get ready. So it's all about, just kind of knowing people and knowing how they do things, and also just having that patience and the desire to see everybody win. And everybody's win is a little different. So what maybe is a win for you, it's going to be different for someone else.
Amen. And ladies and gentlemen, you have got to soak up everything she just said, because it's so true. When you're dealing with a multitude, you're dealing with that's when you're dealing with complexity, and not complexity as we always use the term, complexity in differences.
Mhm.
The level and the variation of differences is where it's complex. Not that it's a problem, it's just it has to be managed, and everyone does have to understand. That's why I always believe that everyone should take a course in psychology, general psychology.
Mhm.
Why? Because then you understand human behavior, you understand
Yes.
what makes them tick, what ticks them off. You understand developmental stages. You get
Mhm.
to understand how people communicate, the cause and effect, and then you can value them. You can have more
Yeah.
empathy for them. You can have more
Mhm.
understanding and patience, because I'm like what you said. It's not that I will say, well, what's wrong with everybody else? But I am one who likes to get stuff done. And I
Mhm.
have to be so self-aware that I slow myself down. I have to be conscious in the moment so that I recognize when I'm going too fast for everyone else. Like I
Yeah.
was having a meeting with my contributing writers tonight, and I was bellowing off information. I had told them, I said, hey, take notes. I started bellowing off the information, and immediately I said, Marisa, check yourself, because
Yes.
they have to write what you just said down. So
Mhm.
slow down so that they can connect, they can write down what you say so that they get it. So you don't have to
Mhm.
repeat it again. They
Exactly.
and so to
And
whom
that's really important. I'm glad you said that, because we have to understand people have different learning curves. For some people, I'm like you, boom, 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 let's roll, let's get it, let's make it happen. But some people need to read it first. Some people need to hear it first. So you have to just take into consideration that everybody's not at the same level. Even if we all get it at some point, it takes different ways to get it. And
yeah,
so you have to kind of, pace yourself and slow down and just kind of take it with a grain of salt. And that's what makes us all unique and makes us all individual. And that's what makes it work. So it's rewarding at the end of the day. It can be frustrating, but it can be definitely rewarding at the end of the day.
and you know what I always say, you're a leader, whether you desire to be a leader or not. Just own it, just get past it,
Mm-hmm.
own it. You are a leader because someone is watching you, they're
Mm-hmm.
admiring you, whether up front or from a distance, and they are looking to you for answers to their problems. They
Mm-hmm.
will never tell you. The one thing I had to learn as I was rising up as a leader is that folks are not always going to compliment you. They're not going to always tell you how impactful you were on their life. They're not going to always give you accolades.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be transparent about how you positively impacted them, changed or transformed their life. They're just not, because some people just don't want to deal with admitting to their shortcomings, and that's cool because it takes a lot, and
Yes.
everybody's at a different level. But one thing I had to own was my responsibility as an individual to show up, to make sure
Yeah.
that I carry myself as best I possibly can. Not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
see my flaws so that you can see how I work through them.
Right. Right.
Right. But when you become a woman empowered, there's a responsibility that comes with that level of autonomy, that level of revelation, that level of freedom. There's a responsibility
It
that comes
is.
with it. And the responsibility is your leadership in bringing others up and caring for them in
Mm-hmm.
the process of bringing them up. And so I just always admire you because I'm a part of your different groups. You've blessed me with being a part of your second anthology when it comes to I Am a Woman Empowered too. And I get to see the interactions. I don't always get to say something because I'm like, oh God, it's been so busy. We're leveling up,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes. And I
Level-
love what you said about, when you talk about being empowered, it comes with that balance, but it also allows you to understand that as people are, a lot of times people say, I don't want to be a role model. I don't want people watching me. But at the end of the day, you can't really help who looks at you and thinks highly of you. So it's a responsibility to make sure that you move in a certain way. And like you said, it's not about being perfect because we can't be perfect, but you have to assume a position of greatness. And that's for anybody. Even people might think like, okay, well, I'm not really doing anything. As a parent, your child looks up to you. You have to assume a level of greatness, even when we don't know how or what to do. Your child doesn't know that. And so they're trusting you to be great for them. So all of us can play that position. We just have to understand that as you get to what they say is levels to this thing. Every level requires you to step up a little bit more. And so you have to take responsibility to understand that wherever I'm at in life, if people see me in a certain way, then I need to show up the right way. And the reason I say that is because when God blesses you, people need to understand it's God. It's not you, it's God. So when you shine, you're shining as a reflection of what he's done for you. So you dishonor him when you out here just wilding out, acting crazy, and all these things. Being great is it's really letting people know what's possible with God. And
yeah.
so for me, I have to take it seriously. I have to be, very adamant about, moving in a certain direction. And do I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. I sure don't. But that doesn't mean that I stop just because I don't get it right. It means that I may say, okay, let me own my error. Let me own my mistake. Or, okay, let me try to see what I can do to make that right. But bottom line, it still doesn't mean that just because I don't get it right, that I don't keep striving to make it better, to
Oh,
be better, to
that's
keep
it.
going for my dreams and my goals. And hopefully somebody will see that and think, you know what? That lady is out here trying to do some things. So now I'm encouraged to go out here and share my story and make some things happen for myself, whatever that looks like for you.
Yes, yes. And you are doing amazing things. I've seen you on Sean Fair's platform. You just
Mm-hmm.
in regards to that. And with being a published author, comes speaking. The two go hand in hand.
Yes.
You can't write a book and then not expect to show up and talk about it. You got to
Right.
show up, show out, and let the people know what you talked about. And so that's critically important for you to understand as authors, because this is Tuesdays is the author's corner, and that's what we're here. We're talking about I am a woman empowered too, and it's all about understanding the strategy behind it. So you wrote a book, then what?
Now
Everybody's
what?
not going to come to the bookstore and buy your book. You got to
Right.
go out there. You got to hit the circuit. You got to make things happen. You got to take center stage and own it. You got to roll out your own red carpet sometimes, and you have to make it happen. You have to show up for yourself. And part of that is speaking. And you've done that. You have been doing some amazing things this past year, being able to watch you from afar and see all the different platforms that you've been on speaking, and your own podcast, I Shine podcast, and
Mhm.
also I Shine magazine. And so I want to make sure that we get our viewers. Our viewers are like popping up. Yes, I am a woman empowered by this discussion tonight. Thank you so much, Michelle. We love you, sis.
Yes. Thank you, Michelle.
I do. As we level up and do, life takes us in a different journey, different direction, and a different
Mm-hmm.
journey, and we have to follow the course. But and here is BJ, snails with no shells. She's saying absolutely. Thank you, BJ, for shining in. And BJ just did a commercial for you, didn't she?
Yes, did an amazing job for the I Shine commercial. So, my intro, I wanted something different. And again, you know what? Let's go back to what you said about being an author requiring speaking. when you, and I always tell people, when you're writing a book, or even if you're just in a chapter in an anthology, don't think that's small, because what that's doing is creating you a gateway. It's like a door opener. It's kind of like a business card, because when you write a book, now people are seeing you as a subject matter expert. They are seeing you as someone who has some authority. They are seeing you as an empowered person, right? With that being said, you've got to understand that so much comes with that, and it's opportunities that can come out of it. When you start speaking, you want to be able to go on interviews, you want to be able to share what you've written about. But from there, you can become a coach. You can start your own platform of a podcast to talk about whatever your story is, because there's always underlying themes. Whether for my first book, I talked about grief. This time we're talking about self-worth, and knowing we started off with maybe low self-esteem, lack of confidence, all those things, but somewhere along the line, some things happen to where we realize, you know what? Oh, I'm fierce, fabulous, and I'm free. And because I am now, I know my worth and I can charge tax.
Yes.
So when you get to that thought process, now you got to start thinking in a different way of how can I maximize my visibility so that I can get credibility. So now the profitability will start happening. And it's all about positioning yourself with opportunities. So what I want to say to everybody is, what's really beautiful is that someone like Marisa, who is so accomplished, who has done some major things in her life, always goes back and mentors people, always gives back and helps people, always looks to see what she can do to further you and wherever you're at. And so although she and I met through someone else, we had a relationship, but it wasn't a close relationship. But throughout time, knowing that she was an author, knowing some of the things I wanted to do, we connected. And since then, she has been 100% a cheerleader in my corner when it comes to being, yes, when it comes to being an author, a publisher, when it came to positioning myself for iShine magazine. So that's what you want to do. You want to find people that can mentor you. Even if they don't even know they're mentoring you, you can look at how they're doing things, how they're showing up, how they are moving in life, and let that be something that you can structure yourself by. Because I'm telling you, trying to do it by yourself and trying to recreate the wheel, why would you do that when there's people out here who are making major moves? Get a book and read it and
Yeah.
get you some tips. Follow podcast or follow someone who is already doing it. So it makes it so much easier for you to start heading in that direction. It will shorten your learning curve, and it will definitely keep you from being stressed out and quitting too soon.
Yes, it does. And we have someone joining us.
Okay.
F Diva. Go on,
Oh,
sis.
honey, Shadiva, hey.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Very good. How are
Awesome.
you?
I am blessed and well. Amazing. So our the tamales came in today. So
Oh, awesome. Don't make me hungry over here, girl.
yeah.
Listen,
Look,
congratulations.
we got the USDA stamp, so you know it's official with the USDA
I
stamp.
know,
You
right?
know
Do
it's
you know
legit.
how amazing that is to have, what Marisa was talking earlier about our group. And I
Okay.
love it because they are so encouraging, so supportive. So when she
Yes,
put that in there, everybody was like, girl, I feel like the USDA has sent me an email and said, baby, you was on and
okay.
popping with these tamales.
Yeah, and you know what? And I was telling a friend, like, it's really one of those things that's so dear because I tell you, my grandma taught me how to make tamales, right?
Mhm.
And it's like from back then when she was making the tamales, she worked, she was a housekeeper as the help, and she worked for white people and she hustled and sold tamales on the side and
Mhm.
done other stuff that she did. And it's like for me to come back later, run her recipe, now I got the white folks working for me, doing them for me.
Wow.
It's just like it's
Full circle.
full circle, just doing what nobody would have never thought, something like that on that magnitude, and then tamales, because as I mentioned before, like
Mhm.
so many people I reached out to, and it's like, it's a good idea, but you dry hating and don't want to help me. And
Right.
and then come back down the line, meet them in Dallas, and they just picked it up and ran with it. And just, I mean, it's just so supportive. Chef, we just want to see you win. We just want, I ain't
Yes,
had to put,
yes.
haven't had to put no money up or nothing. Like,
Wow.
I
That's a
mean, that's
blessing.
a blessing. And then like when they had hit me Friday about the transportation, I was ready to go pick them up, and then they was like, "Oh, no, 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 we gotta have you have to have a refrigerated trailer." And so when I called my dad, he was stuck in Tucson, and so I was like, "Dang, he in Tucson, so he can't pick them up." And then they was like, "Oh, you know what? We'll bring them to you. Just pay for the fuel." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, And then and again, when they came, I was like, "Okay, do I need to, I need to swipe a card?" Oh no, we'll just bill you later. Just go ahead and do what you do. And it's like, that type of stuff ain't nothing but God. Ain't nothing,
Nothing but God.
That's God.
nothing but God.
That's God's favor. That's his
Absolutely,
stamp
absolutely.
of approval to say move forward.
Yeah.
And just amazing. It was amazing to have you on last week. And so with you coming, taking center stage and owning it with us, talk to us about your participation in the I Am a Woman Empowered to share a little bit of your journey. Because each week we have a different audience. So
Right.
last week's audience isn't here this week. So
Right.
not only that, when we speak off the cuff, when we're just
Mhm.
natural, we don't always say the same thing. So
Correct.
just share with the audience a little bit about how you became a part of this project and the impact of this project.
So I came a part of the project. Miss A Love, she gave me the invite. Met her at a networking event when I was in Atlanta, and when she presented the idea, it was just one of those things, just that divine timing. Because it's like, you know what, I'm really at this point in my life where I am truly fierce, fabulous, and free. And I'm like, and as they say, she understands the assignment. Like I get the assignment. Like I understand what I'm here for now. For a while, I couldn't understand certain things and aspects of my life, but now that I get it, I get it. And so, and one of my biggest things that I struggled with for a while was being in that season of singleness, right? And I'm entertaining and the basic, and it was so funny because I was listening to Pastor Keon Henderson, and what I realized is I'm entertaining people that don't understand my calling,
Mm.
and that's why it don't work. When I tell them stuff, oh, let's do this, I'm bougie, I'm stuck up, I'm this, I'm that. But and when it really boils down to, you don't understand my calling. So since you don't
Mm.
understand my calling and what I'm here for and what I'm trying to do, then of course we're gonna always be off. Of course it's never gonna work. And
Mhm.
then I'm gravitating towards people that just isn't what I am anymore. You know,
Yeah,
what I
correct.
can, and it hit home a couple of when the pandemic hit. A cousin, like a older cousin, but him and my dad, they were close in age, so they were like best friends, right? He passed away, and then it really drew me closer back to my dad, right? Because it was one of those things of over the years, like I've known who my dad is. He's been in the picture, but I couldn't accept him for who he was because I was holding him to another standard, right?
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
I'm looking at him as like my stepdad. Like my stepdad pretty much raised me, put me through college. You name it, he did it. And what I realized is, but my dad don't have that mindset. He's a
Right.
good man, really good man, but he just doesn't have that mindset. If I call Junior right now, that's my stepdad. Hey, I need such and such. Oh well, let me see. Well, let me take a load. Let me get this. I'm gonna call your mama. Whatever, and
Right.
it's done. No questions asked. I call my daddy. Well, baby ain't got it. And he's not gonna worry about getting it. He just don't have it. However, whatever he can do, he will do it.
Right.
He will.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what I had to realize because again, I'm holding him to the stand. Oh, you let this man come in and do this for us and do that for us, and you won't do this, and you'll do this, and and that type of stuff. But then when I really realized it, it really fell back in love with him, and that's when I realized once I fell back in love with my daddy, because he was my first love. Because when I realized, I was like, I've always been a daddy's girl. Whatever I want from him, I always had him eating on my palm. It wasn't the grandest, but he gave me what he could
Yeah.
anytime he could. And when God planted this vision for me to go back home and do this USDA project, with my tamales, because for right now I'm gonna let them manufacture them in Dallas, but once the money roll in, I'm gonna have to cut the cord and do my own thing, because we got land out there, and so I'm gonna do an agriculture project. But guess who done got the collard green farm started?
Mm.
Daddy. Get out there and get it. Done put the
Wow.
form up, done broke done broke all of that. done got it done. I mean, but
Wow.
again, that's what he could do because that's within his reason. And I mean, whatever I've needed for, well, babe, I'm gonna run the town to go get this. I had to get that. I had just whatever okay, daddy, okay, whatever I need, he got it. So once that relationship really got right, that's when it really came full circle, and I really realized some things with myself just to truly walk that journey of being fierce, fabulous, and free, and freeing myself from things and realizing, reflecting, looking at those relationships and stuff. And and being so pressed about, oh well, I love love, I come from love, everybody done been together for so long, and it's like I want that too because I've seen it. But then again, how I'm gonna get it when I'm always entertaining somebody who don't understand my
Right.
calling and what I'm here for? You ain't
Yes.
gonna support me. You too busy hating because remember I'm so bougie. You can't. Oh, I can't take. What you mean you can't take me? I can fit in wherever. Trust me, if you go back home to where I'm from and you meet my people, you will see I'm not as bougie as you think I am.
Right.
I'm
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hood, low key, but
Low key. We say low key, baby.
I gotta carry myself, and that's what I'm saying. I gotta carry myself a certain kind of way. I just it was a thing for me. Education was important to me. I've always been like that nerdy type. So yeah, I have multiple degrees. I don't throw them around. I don't, it ain't like I'm, every conversation trying to throw up, I got this or that. A lot of people don't even know the education I have until I say something, because again, that's just something that I chose to do was to educate myself. And then again, like I said, just really when the pandemic hit, that was another thing that opened up a lot. Like I said, outside of getting a relationship right with my dad, um, there was a guy that I was dating, and he left me behind paper. And it's like not money, because I know that's what y'all probably thinking, like maybe art. No, paper, really, like writing paper.
Wow.
Wow, right. So
Wow.
let me give it to you, and I'm saying that's
Come
when it
on, give
really.
that to us because we like,
I
what?
got to. So check it out. I was dating him, and it was one of those things. It's like good, really good man. I can't even say nothing, but he just wasn't a man for me that I had to end up finding out. But the thing about it, when we started dating, he just wasn't. He for one, he wasn't where he wanted to be at, right? But he had a good work ethic, really good man, good hardworking man, right? And so when he had a slip and fall incident, right? And so when he had the slip and fall incident, now mind you, I'm telling you this. I'm feeling like if I'm your woman, I should be able to back you and help you, tell you what's what, right? I'm telling you how workers comp work on two ends. For one, being a manager, having to send my employees for workers comp, and telling you from the aspect of me having to collect workers comp.
Go ahead, girl.
When that 2017 year hit and we opened up the school year, I had a slip and fall incident. I couldn't even start school when the school year started. And that's when we had Harvey down here. So when Harvey hit, because I went back to school like one day, and then we was out of school for like 2 weeks. Until everything cleared up with Harvey. So I had a slip and fall incident, right? So I'm giving him the game on both ends, from sending as an employee and for me drawing it. Oh well, I need to let him handle it as a man. Okay, well, you can handle your business as a man, but I'm just trying to tell you. Well, see, that's your problem. You think you know it all. And that's why I knew that was a problem. I was like, any man, if you're trying to tell them something, anytime I hear that you know it all, you a hater. You're a low-key hater. For you to even say something. How could you even think I'm coming from a place of knowing it all? I'm telling you what I know. And then if you listen to me, you should see I'm gonna get to the money and help you collect checks. Instead, you sitting here looking crazy. And that's exactly what happened. So my birthday hit, right? My birthday is the day after Valentine's Day, right? And depending on how it falls, President's Day, that falls and we'll be out of school, right? He had a slip and fall incident, and I mean, he fell apart at the seams because when he had the slip and fall incident, right? Now, mind you, when he first had this, because he said he had hurt himself before we met, like right before we met. And I was like, you didn't document that? Nah, I didn't document. I was like, no, you need to go back and document that. I was like, because what could happen? I was like, man, I was like, what if you hurt yourself down the line? You have problems with that. I was like, you're gonna have to come out of pocket for that. So I was like, you need to go back to the supervisor, let them know it happened, so at least you could document. They send you off, and you'll be okay, right? Now I'm telling you this is the woman, right? Well, he goes to the supervisor that didn't know any better, and the supervisor told him to go to the doctor. So what he did, instead of listening to his woman, the supervisor told him to go to the doctor. But again, I've been in management for years. I'm telling you what's what. This boy don't know. Literally a boy, a little 23-year-old boy that they just put in a position, don't know what he's talking about. I'm telling you what I know, but you're going to listen to your supervisor? Okay, cool. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So had the slip and file incident. Everything was cool for a second. And of course, what happened? Pre-existing condition. Cut off the physical therapy, cut off the meds. So now he's angry, depressed,
Mm.
stressed, and then like I'm saying, like I had told him, you had the audacity to try to leave me. I could have left you because you ain't my husband. That's first and foremost. And second of all, you ain't got no job.
Mm.
He's sitting here looking at me through the pandemic because, school shut down. I'm still cashing checks like I'm getting up going to the schoolhouse every day. He ain't
Wow.
getting no checks. So, of course, that jealousy kicking in, because now I'm good. Like, I'm not missing a beat. Orders coming in, tamales, I'm catering repasts, you name it. Like, I'm not missing a beat. I'm still out here getting it while still collecting a full check like I'm going to work every day. And I know that's what he was pressed and bothered about. So we had like a little, like some, it was just getting real petty with the arguments and stuff. And we almost broke up, but we came back from it. Well, when we really broke up, one Sunday morning, right? I get up and I'm not even in the mood for no argument, no nothing. Because I had a hysterectomy that year, and that was actually the last period I had, and I was cramping so bad. I'm sitting on the couch, and I said, you know what, babe? I was like, while I'm out doing tamales this week, I'm gonna get you a journal so you can write your thoughts down. Now, I'm not one of those I was getting biblical, but even the Bible said, Habakkuk 2:2, write your vision down.
Make it plain.
Make it plain.
Make it plain.
I said that, and you would have swore I cussed him out. I don't need no motherfucking journaling. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Who you talking to? I was like, wait a minute. I said a journal. I was like, so you can write your thoughts down. So you can write down your stuff that we was talking about last night. We was talking about your bed. I see that's your problem right there. I'm not your son. What? Like, I was
Where
like,
did that come from? You
right.
need.
And I was like, what are you talking about? You're always trying to tell somebody what to do. That's your problem. What? Wait, what? And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, John, I was like, just so we had this right. I was like, I'm talking about paper, like a journal, so you can write down stuff. I don't need to write nothing down. I done had a business before. I done had a business before. So I know how to run a business. I don't need to write nothing down. Now, even the most, I don't care who's who. It's no successful business owner that I know.
None that I know.
People that have mentored me, that people that I run with, everybody got like journals and notepads and
Baby.
something.
I got
Multiple.
too many.
I was gonna say multiple.
Multiple. So it's like I'm the same look that I'm look. That's how I'm looking while he was talking. Cause I'm like, is this for real? Like, what is this? He got up, got his stuff together, the little stuff he had here. And that's why you ain't got no man. That's why you can't keep no man. You always trying to tell him what to do. I was from paper, from me suggesting, let me get you a journal to write down your thoughts. And that's when it hit me. I'm talking about like the light bulb went off, like that epiphany, everything. Because I'm not throwing shade or anything like that. But again, like I told him, I'm looking past some things that I shouldn't have looked past.
Mm.
Okay. Let's put that on
Right.
the table. You living with a friend, you're technically homeless. Because let that friend get a wild hair up his you know what and put you out. Where you finna go? You ain't got no bill. That you ain't got no rent, no mortgage, or nothing in your name. You living with somebody. You staying with somebody. And for you to even come at me, and for the fact that I'm even entertaining you,
Yeah.
you gonna come at me with that? That's what it went out. That's what the light bulb went out. I was like, you know what? This is no, absolutely not. This is where there's certain things I've got to start putting in place. I know I do, I still do hood stuff, but I got to step the game up and elevate it just a little bit more because this right here is not going to be that. You don't get to leave me and try to make me feel bad because look, because I'm trying to help, you know. But again, for you to take that anything that I'm saying to you and try to twist it and make it seem like I'm doing more than what it is, you let me know what you're about. You let me know what you're about. You're miserable with your life because you sitting here and and it'd be the little things that was said. Oh well, yo, you getting you still getting paid. Okay, well, yeah, that's how it go. I signed a contract with the school district. Unless I sleep with a kid, they gonna keep paying me. Like, yeah, pretty much. And well, you ain't got that to worry about. You don't know what that feels. Well, yeah, honestly I don't at this point. I can't say that I do know what it feels like at this point. I have been, when I was in the beginning of my career building up. I know what it is, job to job, moving around. I know what that is. But you're right, I don't because the last decade or so I've had stability because I have a career. So yeah, I don't know at this age in my life. I don't know what that feels like at this age in my life because stability is important to me. So you're right. I don't know about job hopping because I have a child to take care of. And like I said, stability is just too important. So when that happened, with my dad paired up with my dad, it just opened it up when I really realized some things of just really, I'm not worried about this stuff no more. I'm back in a good place with my daddy. I'm back in love with him. You know, he successfully finished up his radiation treatment. Got to see him on the weekend.
Oh,
Love
that's
on.
good. That's good.
He's just, and he's doing great. Like I said, even while he was doing radiation, he back there busting down the soil and putting around the fence.
There you
Like,
go.
Oh, daddy.
okay, look, don't get it to girl. He in good shape. I gotta give it to him because he does paint and body work. Still out there working on cars and stuff and all of that. And I'm just like, Daddy, you good? Oh, I'm okay. I'm great, baby. I'm great. God got me. I'm good.
Man.
We go to church and we just we're just doing his thing. So and this in the just I mean the timing of the book, it just came so on time. Just to really lay out the story because it's like somebody need to hear it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't as ridiculous as somebody got left behind paper from somebody homeless, but just dealing with somebody that
Did you get that, Marisa? Did you catch that?
I'm just saying. But I'm more than sure that somebody can relate to dealing with somebody and entertaining somebody that don't get their purpose, that
Well,
don't get their calling.
well, when you look at it from a perspective, so when you are a woman who is empowered, you are going to, as a single woman, and I can attest to this. It's funny how when you're explaining it, there's a specific gentleman that he's a good guy, just like you said,
Right.
but the you knowing things and being an informed and empowered woman,
Right.
it's like a stab at them.
Yeah.
It's a trigger, and
Yeah.
that's exactly the response. And unfortunately, for men like that, they do need women like us, but they don't understand that they self sabotage by those behaviors, those traits, and they don't even see them. What kind of work does he do when he is working? What kind of work was he doing?
A driver.
Okay.
He had a box truck. He was when he said he had his business, he had a box truck. He was a driver, and then he was doing deliveries for Amazon.
Okay. Yeah. So some personalities, and also coupled with their profession. So this gentleman did more in the area of he had a position in authority, and so because he had a position in authority, the type of work that he did was very very short. Like, so when he spoke to people, he spoke very short to them. It was kind of that kind of job. And so yeah, so you have that. But the biggest thing that's so important for us as women who are empowered, who are aligned with our design and desire to fulfill the purpose that God has for us. It's important for us to recognize the power of relationships and the impact of those relationships. And it's important for us to recognize them very quickly, because who we are in connection with also gives, it opens up the floodgates of blessings, or it closes them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
scripture
That's
says,
true.
the scripture says Christ was not received in his own house. So we always have to understand that when we are among those who we know, expect to be rejected, or expect for the nonsense, the drama, the trauma, because they're looking at you and they're saying, who is Latoya? Like, who's Marisa? Who is Angela? Like,
Mhm.
that's their attitude. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
she's just here like us. So why she trying to act like she's not?
Mm-hmm.
When we're just coming into the fullness of what God called us to be, and He called us to
Right.
be. It's not
That's
to
it.
be.
And it's so glad you said that, because I think for so many people, especially, when you start talking about, for those who are familiar with network marketing, and somebody say, well, hey, I'm doing this business, I want your support. And they tell you to write down the names of, your warm market. So you're thinking of friends and family and whatnot. Those are not the people who are typically going to support you. It's going to be probably strangers who never heard anything
Absolutely.
about you that will
Absolutely.
actually support you on the biggest level.
Mm-hmm.
And again, people are so shocked, and they're so, like, I can't believe my friends or family won't do it. But the Bible has already said that's not going to be the case. So the
Not at
sooner
all.
that you realize that and understand it, the better you can go through life and not be so broke down because somebody that you thought was going to support you
Yeah.
didn't support you.
And
It's
and I,
just.
I used to be like that. I used, when,
Mhm,
again, just getting started, in the career and stuff. The very first book that I wrote, all of that, and my mama had told, she was like, look, don't be surprised, when these people that you think gonna look out for you, don't get mad. You're gonna have to build some tough skin because of
mhm,
what you do, even with you catering and stuff, don't be surprised they try to want to talk you down on your price and stuff, and and
mhm,
negotiate and all of that, and I'm just like, oh, okay, just kind of taking it at that. But then again, when you get to that fierce, fabulous, and free, no, you're not gonna lowball me for whatever your price is. Guess what? I think the cheap competitors they'll serve you better than I can because I can't.
mhm.
I'm
And
not.
be okay with it. You
It's
know,
okay. It's okay. You
it's
just not
okay.
gonna have me work it because I know how some people are. They will run you through the ringer if you let them.
Absolutely.
They will run
But
you.
it comes a point in time, like you say, it's a mindset shift of
Absolutely.
where you are to where you understand, okay, it is what it is. And if this is what you charge, either I can afford it or I can't. Either I'm going to go with it and I can't. And if somebody tells you no, it has nothing to do with whether you're capable of getting a job done. That's not on you, it's on them.
It's
Same
on them.
thing even for relationships. If a man
Mhm.
can't appreciate you for who you are, it's
It's on
not
them.
about you, it's on
Right.
them.
It's
And
on
I
them.
think that for a long time, when we start really kind of worrying about, what's wrong with me, because
Hmm.
as women we always internalize, like,
Yeah.
well, what could I have done? Maybe I should have did, maybe I could have cooked more, maybe I could have had more sex, maybe I could have did whatever the thing
Yeah.
is.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you
It
do
don't
that,
matter. It
because
don't matter.
that's really not what the issue is. It's not about you and what you can do, it's that person and
It's
whether or
the
not
person.
they're
Yep.
mature enough to
Yep.
recognize where you're at in your life and whether or not they are ready for it, because timing and positioning is everything. I don't
Everything.
care in what you are in, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whatever even in business, timing and positioning. If you get the right person at the right time, it can be 100 women behind you that say, oh girl, he is a dog, he is nothing, and then he gets you and treats you like a queen. It's timing and positioning. People can get in jobs. They can get, how people get in network marketing, and then you like, oh my God, they are up here killing it. They're making 6 figures, 7 figures, and you get in and you barely making $250.
Hmm.
It's timing and positioning. And so you have to really
Absolutely.
understand what that looks like and not put all the weight on your shoulders, like, well, what am I doing wrong? 99.9% of the time, it's not even about you. It's not you at all. It's
It's
just
not.
that it just wasn't working out, and you have to move on and not absorb it, because for a lot of times, for especially women, we bring that on ourselves, and that's why we don't have the confidence. That's why we are low
Break,
self-esteem. That's why
breaking
we
our
feel
own
like,
heart.
oh well, we want to be chosen, and we feel like it's something wrong when people don't choose us. We want to take that rejection personally. It
Hmm.
has nothing to do with that. And the
Nothing.
sooner that we recognize that I'm great, whether you
Yeah.
choose me or not.
Right.
Right.
I'm amazing and fabulous whether you stay with me or not. And that's what it is to be fierce, fabulous, and for real, free. You
Mm,
know, we can say we fierce and fabulous, and we still people pleasing and still trying to worry about, oh, I
You
got to make sure, doing all that. You're not free. Freedom comes where you can say what you're going to say, and if they choose to leave, then bye, and it's
bye.
okay. And I'm not even mad. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm still gonna be, hope you, wish you well,
Yeah,
but the freedom is being able to understand that no matter what your actions don't affect me and how I show up in the world. It's
right,
not going to make me not want to go out here and have black girl tamales become a household name. It's not going
right.
to change that. It's not going to
Correct.
affect the fact that Maurice is over in the Dominican Republic living her life to the fullest.
Okay,
It's not
the
going
big
to change
one.
that.
Okay,
That's the beauty of being fierce, fabulous, and free.
that's the beauty of, and and which you touch bases on so many things. That I also, outside of that relationship with him, I tied up a good portion of my 30s with high school sweetheart, right? College, high school sweetheart, really thinking like, he was the one that got away, look. And when it really hit me and we got back in contact with each other, it was just like, it was kind of like I manifested them, you know, come
Hmm.
to find out we was living right down the street from each other, all of
Wow.
this type of stuff, right? And so we got back in contact, and it was one of those things. It's like, who is this? Like, who done showed back up on the doorstep? Like, I get we grown, I get that, but like, I still feel like some people, like, if you sweet, you just sweet. That's always gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If you're a nice and kind person, that's always gonna be there. And I mean, he had grown so bitter and so mean, and it's
Mm.
just like every chance you get, you trying to break, like trying to tear me down and say mean things to me, but then you say other things that would kind of negate, like, because I could tell, man, how you live like that, how you do this, because I didn't realize a lot of things was going on with him, like coming up, like stuff with his dad and all that type of stuff, because they put on, like, I always call them the Huxtables, right? Because that's the facade they put on, like the perfect family, like the perfect little, I mean, just that perfect family. So I always thought, like, oh snap, like I don't know, maybe we might be too hood for them. Like they got too much going on, and come to find out, it's like, well, damn, like y'all, well, we ain't too bad over here. At least we know how to love each other, and we genuine. We ain't
Right.
tearing nobody down over here. Come to find out, daddy tearing them down and telling them, putting all type of negativity, and like, dang, that's messed up. But I didn't come from that, So it's like, but again, you think, how people will put on that, you think they one person, but when you really get to know them, they really ain't nothing like that.
That's why you got to be careful.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
gotta
you got
be
to be so
careful.
careful of
Yeah,
how you looking at somebody else from the outside looking in.
absolutely,
Baby, the
absolutely.
representatives be on point, honey. They be out there shining bright until you
Look,
get behind the surface and realize, oh,
ooh.
that representative is something else. It's one of those things. I tried so hard because, like I said, deep down, I know he is a good dude, and I'm still gonna stick firm to he is a good man. Again, just not the man for me. But
No.
mhm,
when I realize things with him, it's just like, wow, you choose this person, you choose this person, and that person. I genuinely love you. But why not me? I always thought, like, why not me? That was
mhm,
always my thing. Why not me? We got a good relationship as friends. We got this, we got that, but why not me? And well, if I do this, he gonna see this in me. Well, if I do that, he gonna see. Yep, that right there, Marie. No, absolutely not. And when it hit me and it really got to that point, I was like, you know what? When I really had the wake up call with that situation, I got a phone call, woke up out of my nap. I was taking a nap after I got home. Um, one of his women called me. Like, what? And and it's just like, look, girl, don't call me with all this. First of all, I'm trying to take a nap. That's first and foremost. You interrupted my sleep. Let's put that on the table. But not even that. That's when it hit me. It was like, you're trying to front like you're not seeing nobody, you're not doing this. But again, you're choosing other people but me. And it was like, you know what, I'm good. I'm okay. I think I done tied up enough of my time. I done, because it's so crazy. And I make the joke, like, I could have been married years ago. Like, white men just love me, but I get caught up on black love. And I think it comes from the jobs that I've had,
Mhm.
interacting with. I mean, when I say, and I've dated someone and the best dealings, but it's like, oh, where my Obama at? Like, where my Steve? Like, I want that black love, and I get caught up. But I'm talking about solid. I can't say nothing wrong with these men other than they white, but I want black love, that type of thing. And
Right.
so, and that's something that I've definitely got my head out of. I was like, you know what? I need to get off the gas because a black man might not be for me, and in the reality that might not be for me because when I think about the dealings that I've had with any white men, I mean, they have treated me like it's just like, where can I get this from a black man? Like, why they can't treat me like that? Why can't it be this situation with that type of a black man raised me, all of that type of stuff that you coach yourself with. So it's just like now where I'm at, and I know, like, as we've all claimed, as P. Angela and A Love done claimed for, I'm finna be a household name. You know what? It might be a white man with a bag, and that's another thing. So they be having money, but I be caught
No,
up on the whole black love thing.
you don't have to feel guilty. Like you
Right.
don't have to feel guilty about
Right.
choose. And you shouldn't feel restricted. And it's not just about you looking for it, it's also about your sisterhood that's around you. So
Right.
you also look to say, are they going to be okay with my decision?
Right.
And so I just want to take a quick flash. We are talking about the book, I Am a Woman Empowered, 2, Fierce, Fabulous, and Free. And we're talking about what that means. And we started this show off talking about what goes on behind the scenes. And Chef Diva has really shared some of
Mhm.
what really goes on because in my approach to coaching and business, I speak to all the aspects of our life. Okay, you
Mhm.
writing 12 books. I had someone say, Marisa, you're all over the place. You talk about this and you talk about that. Oh, excuse me. If you are paying attention, slow down and pay attention. There is a method to my madness.
Exactly.
When we are striving to achieve greatness, okay, all of these things are designed to distract us.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Every book I have written has spoken to that.
Hmm.
From Take Center Stage and Own It, personal, professional, and business development. Self awareness should lead you to self development. Self development is about knowing who you are and what you're made of and strengthening that. Self development should lead you to self mastery, knowing what makes you tick, what ticks you off, and how to navigate around it so that you get the results out of your life you desire and you live a fulfilling life. So, how do we do that? I wrote, Sweetheart, before I say I do. Why? Because I said to myself, I'm in a 19-year marriage. How did I get here? He is not the partner I would have chosen had I known who I was, right? So, Sweetheart, before I say I do, talks to the love relationship, which is the most important relationship out of your relationship with God. First is you and God, your relationship with Him. Then is you and your lover, which should be your husband, right? That's the next one. Your kids are supposed to come after that. So when you try to put your kids before the man, that's why you having a mix up here because it's the man, the husband, the love relationship that's the second most critical relationship. God tells us that a man should leave his parents, his mom, his dad, and cleave, not just go to. He said, cleave onto his wife. Then God said in his word that he said, it's not good for man to live alone. The very thing that that man rejected about you is the very thing that God sent you to do for him, is to help him, right? But man rejected it. But that's why I wrote the books, Sweetheart, Before I Say I Do. I wrote the book, Maintain Your Superhero Status, A Real Parent's Perspective, because the other thing that causes us to get off kilter is our children, right? We get off focus because our kids are out here doing different things and we got to get focused. So all of these things are the challenges that go behind the scenes that make it a requirement for us to become women empowered. Empowered so that we can overcome the trauma and the drama to still live a successful life. And the successful life is not about money. It's about living a life that God called us to live, a life filled with purpose, promise, and fulfillment, right? So that we can be happy. I want to talk to you about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Are you guys familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs? where it says the first level of needs is physiological, and that's air, water, food. That's the basic, just clothing. And then it says safety. Then it goes on to say love and belonging. And sometimes we get stuck at love and belonging. Why? Because we have a tendency to conform. And what we've done is subconsciously, because we know our friends and family ain't gonna like if we do this, because our friends and family, they ain't gonna really approve of that. So we have conformed because we don't want to interrupt those relationships. We want to be politically correct. We want to make sure we always do the right thing. We're always pleasing. Well, people that do that live miserable lives. That's the family that you were talking about, where they had this facade, but what was really going on behind the scenes was toxic, right? Toxic, right? So we get stuck at love and belonging. The next level, he says, is esteem. And because we get stuck at love and belonging, our self-esteem and that empowerment doesn't take place because we're too busy trying to help everybody else. But if we work on our own self and we're true to ourselves, we bust open conformity and we say, to hell with that. And then we build up our self-respect, our self-esteem. We claim our status and position. We understand the importance of words of affirmation, self-talk, self-awareness, why it's important for self-care. Then we enter into the first level of freedom. And that level of freedom is when we walk into self-actualization. So the lie is that self-actualization is when you maximize all your achievements and you done tapped into all your abilities. That's the lie. Self-actualization is saying, I'm free. I am free indeed. And I don't care what you say. And I don't really care what you say. Because what's living in me, what's encapsulated inside of me is so big that I cannot even contain it. It's got to come out. And so self-actualization is when you release your authenticity and say, to hell with it. I done entertained this mess long enough. And I'm done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for me, and I'm coming up. And you realize the beauty of this feeling and experience so much.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Maslow argues that self-actualization in its true form compels you to reach back and go get others and say, come up here. So that's what's happened with Angela. She says, oh my God, I feel, woo, did you feel that? Oh my God. Woo, come on, girl, come on up here. What you doing with them people?
Yeah.
What you worried about? And that's why it says, the Bible says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Why? Because you realize that, right? That you are not your own. You were bought with a price. That you are not your own. And that what he said in John 14, I will not leave you comfortless, but I will send you the Holy Spirit. And he will show you all things and teach you all things and show you things to come. And then you understand the fullness of that. And then you are operating mentally and spiritually at a level that's high above mankind. So you are no longer subject. The scripture says to be in the world, but not of the world.
Right. That's
right.
Good.
And have your mind renewed, right? And renew your mind, because your mindset, in order for you to really operate at this level, has to shift. It has to be empowered.
Yes.
It has to be.
Absolutely.
Empowered to the truth.
To the truth. Exactly. And it's funny today. I was, periodically I'm listening to different types of motivational things on YouTube or whatever, and I ran across one. I believe that Jay-Z was talking in, and they had a quote where he said, "I'd rather die enormous than live dormant." And that was so powerful to me, because when you talk about self-actualization,
Yeah.
When you're stuck on the lower levels of worrying about somebody else and what they're doing, and you're dormant, you're stagnant, you're not moving, you don't have anything going for yourself, you just want to stay right where you are, you don't want to do too much to the left, you don't want to go too far to the right, you want to look at everybody else and you're the same person. So when people leave and come back home and the people are in the same position doing the same thing, those are people who want to live dormant. But dormancy doesn't give you a sense of being alive. It doesn't give you the ability to renew your mind, because if you were renewing your mind, then you're going to seek to live enormous, to be great. Y'all know I always talk about my favorite poem is the one by Marianne Williamson about our deepest fear. It's not that we're inadequate, it's that we're powerful beyond measure.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
because we have people who can't function on a powerful level
Mm,
without trying to tear someone down, they
mm.
don't want you to shine bright. They
Yeah.
want you to dumb down or
Yeah.
play small
Mm,
or be mediocre,
yeah.
and just kind of go through life and die what, with not having never achieved anything. And so most people don't want to take a risk. When you get to self-actualization, then you're a risk taker, because you already know God has put some things inside of you that he's meant for you to accomplish. So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, Chef Diva could have just kept doing the tamales at the house and let people come through and eat them and been like, girl, these are the best tamales I've ever had, and been happy with that. But something inside of her was stirred up to say, the baby, I can feed you, but what about I can feed the world? And I'm
Mm,
getting ready to go for it. See, it comes when you are checking yourself to realize that there's so much more. And if you serve a God who can create a whole world, who can give you multiple different types of trees or types of flowers or types of animals, if he can give you all of that variety, then that means that what gift you have does not keep you from being successful just because somebody else is out here doing the same thing. It doesn't change that. But if you're going to die enormous, it's so much better to live your life to the full. I don't care how much time you have. Don't just be comfortable and want to be living to old age, and you've never even seen the ocean, you never went outside of your state. Live life. Life is meant to be enjoyed and meant to be seen. And this is a time now, we're in 2022, so when COVID hit and people start dying just like that, and it's not to say that we didn't know people were dying, because they were, but when it hits you to the point of somebody's here today and you call and somebody, you check on them, they're gone in 3 to 5 days, if not less.
mm.
That's a wake up thing to say that whatever's out here, baby, I'm gonna go for it, and I want to be enormous. And like you say, Marissa, I told somebody the other day, baby, I want to be like air everywhere. I
Mm,
don't care. Don't tell me that I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not doing enough,
mm.
but it comes a point in time. It comes a point in time when you need to understand there is so much out here in life to experience. And if you are with someone who wants to stay mediocre, high five. Maybe that's because Jesus said the poor will be with you always. And
Yes.
so that doesn't mean financially poor, that's poor in mindset, poor in spirit.
Right. Yeah.
But
That's
you got to be able to understand that if you know it's something more inside of you and you want more, then fly like the eagles, baby. Leave the chickens and the ducks wherever they are and let them do what they do.
Look,
Come on.
I just said that the other day when we was at their brunch. I sent you a video to one of they was talking at the brunch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was we was in a sky lounge, right? And it was an eagle that was flying by. And so my little sis, I call my little sis, she used to work for me. Like when I first moved back down here from Atlanta. She was one of my oldest workers. And so we just became cool, family, all of that, right? So I see the eagle and I say, that's it right there. And she turned around and she was like, it's the eagle. And I was like, yeah. I was like, let me ask you this question. I was like, would you rather be a chicken or the eagle? And she was like, chicken or eagle? And I was like, chicken or eagle? She was like, I don't, I don't. Maybe where you going there with the sis? And I was like, let me kick it to you. I was like, have you ever seen a chicken fly? And she was like, well, I mean, maybe like a little bit off the ground. I was like, right, probably like a couple of inches off the ground. Ain't no chicken flying high in the sky. Eagles fly high in the sky. That's who you want to surround yourself with. That's who you want to be with. The pigeons and the chickens, they can't get up off the ground no more than a couple of
A
inches.
little bit.
You want to soar high and set those goals and those aspirations and soar high. You know, do great things. You know, you want to be great. You know, you don't, again, who want to just be mediocre in life? Those are the most bitterest, angriest people that I've ever
Mhm.
seen in my life. And you know, and it's sad in a sense because, like I said, a lot of people see me and they think, oh, all of this just came out of nowhere, and it's like, no, I did the work. Like I did the
Mhm.
work. Trust me, I did everything from the mindset adjustment to everything, just realizing and appreciating people
Mhm.
that come into my life, you
Mhm.
know, because you know you have a lot of people that had that mindset. Oh, I don't need no new friend. Yes, you do. Because let me tell you, the new friends that I got, my
Yeah.
friends are helping me run up bags. My new friend, my old friends, check it out. My new friends, they helping me run up that bag so I can take these old friends on trips and do the stuff that I do with the old friends. I mean, I don't take nothing away from my old friends, but again, they don't have that mindset. And when you hear that type of stuff about no new friends or oh, I don't like people. What? You don't like people, but you got a business and you want people to buy from you?
You can't exist without people. I mean,
How you don't like people? You know, like,
exactly.
make it make sense. You're like you really
Make
want
it
these
make
folks to buy
sense.
from you. You want them to support you, but then you want to talk to them in your kind of way. You can't do that.
You
No
cannot do that.
social, no social skills, and no. I was talking to one of my cousins, and that's what she was like. Well, I'm not really a people person, cause you're going to have to become a people person if you want people to buy from you. You're not gonna be able to just talk to them any old kind of way. I was like, because again, that's why it's always coined is black folks have bad customer service. You know, that type
Yeah.
of you don't know how to talk to people, you don't know how to treat them.
Hmm.
You can't just talk to people any old kind of way and expect them to spend money. And I was like, and especially quality people. I was like, because that's the thing. People will spend with you. I was like, it's how you make people feel.
Right.
Hmm.
It's all about how you make people feel. So if you make people feel good and they get that good energy from, they ain't gonna trip, they gonna want to spend with you. But if
Thank you.
you
And we're always so quick to try and look at somebody else's pocket. So we always say, "Oh, girl,
right,
I'm not gonna buy that or whatever." People are out here spending money, baby. People out here driving and taking trips and doing things when gas is what $4.59.
mm,
Just because you can't doesn't mean that everybody
okay,
else can't.
it don't mean that.
We just kind of
It
we
don't
so
mean
quick to
that.
think that we're so quick to to be thinking
Mhm.
like, oh girl, they're not gonna buy that, that's too expensive, and people want to put a cap on what you can do. But just because that's your limit, it's people out here, baby, spending the money. You hear me, doing
Exactly.
major things. They
Exactly.
are.
And I heard that so much when I first started doing the personal chef thing, like meal prepping and cook. Ain't nobody gonna buy. No, somebody's gonna pay for it. You know,
Right.
they don't have to just be select. I was like, no, people with disposable income that have that income to spend, they'll spend.
That's
So
it.
People who understand the beauty of an experience
exactly.
will
That's
pay.
it. That's
People
it.
who
The experience.
understand that,
People want the
y'all
experience.
busy buying Jordans and purses and things like that, but when you die you can't take that with you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to start shifting how you see about doing things in life, and I
Yeah,
guarantee you when you're on your deathbed you're not sitting around trying to remember where my Jordans at, where my Coach bag, where my,
right, right,
whatever purse it is. You're
right.
not thinking about that. You're thinking about your family and the opportunities and experiences and memories that you built
That's it. That's
with
it.
them, and hiring a personal chef to cook you a delicious meal for y'all to sit back and enjoy. And if that's what you want to do with your money, then it's okay.
It's
And people
okay.
think that nobody's going to be bothered with that. Oh, it's people out here who
It's
love to
people
do well,
really
who love to live like that.
Yep.
love it. They
Love
love it. I mean, when I
Love it.
say, because again, it's an experience. You bringing a
Hmm.
whole experience to them. Like you bringing a restaurant to them. You coming in, you entertain them, setting everything up. They come, they got the rose petals, candle. All of that. It's an experience, like you said,
It's
and
an
that's what
experience.
people don't realize. Because that's what I had to break down to one of my friends. I was like, nah. I was like, my clients pay. Like I was like, look, I was like, I know it might sound material, but that's kind of material. It has to be. I was like, the harsh reality, I gotta have people that do have money to spend. It might sound materialistic, but again, that's your mindset. For you to even have that mindset, it
But
sounds
it's a standard
materialistic.
of living. It's a
Huh?
standard of living. It's a
It's a
standard of living. For
standard
someone,
of living.
that's a luxury, and for someone else, it's a necessity. So it's not,
Right.
yeah. So it just
For
depends
like,
on how,
exactly, that's good you said that. For some people, yes, it's the level of somebody who may want to get massages. Somebody else may be like, oh, that's a once in a lifetime thing. For somebody else, they may be like, baby, I get me a massage every month, every 2 weeks. You
I
know,
told you
I
massages
pamper
are my budget. I
myself.
already told you. I go get me a massage. It's in the budget. Like with
Yeah.
the work I do, that's self care. That's part of my self care.
Self-care.
I got
Right.
to. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm one of them. Like I'm on that table every month, sometimes twice a month, depending on how the month flow and what I got going on. So it's like, yeah,
Right.
I totally, and that's what, and like I said, but again, it's that mindset because when you start
And we should normalize it. You have to
normally, yeah,
normalize. I'm gonna
Too.
tell y'all something. Y'all remember back in the day, Red Lobster was the joint, right? Everybody was trying to go to Red Lobster.
yeah,
And I remember my daughter was probably 4 years old.
mm-hmm.
Her dad he was at that time we had been divorced, and he took her with his girlfriend at the time and got her one of them ultimate feast. Now, mind you, my baby loved her some crab legs, and so she was like, "Are you sure you should spend that kind of money on her? Because she's probably gonna waste it." He was like, "No, she's not gonna waste anything because this is what she liked to eat," and she ate her plate.
Hmm.
But it's the mindset of people. Sometimes you got to take your kids places and let them experience things. Like, it's nothing for my kids to, let's go get us a massage, or let's go get us some this, or let's go travel here, or
Right.
different things. But kids have to be exposed to stuff, because if you don't give people exposure, they're never going to know. That's why it's so important to take people on trips and take them
Mhm.
outside of where you live to see
Yeah.
how other people live, or go and try some. Sometimes people may be like, "Oh, I don't eat that."
No.
How do
Yeah.
you know? You might love it.
You might
And
love it.
If you've been
but you got to get your mind, you have to shift your mind into other ways of doing stuff. It shouldn't just be what you've been used to all your life. It can't
Right.
just be that same old, same old.
That's like, look, and I can say that because when I went to culinary school, it was a lot of stuff I didn't try until I got to culinary school. Now, granted, we went out, we went out to eat and stuff. We always went out to like once on the weekend or something like that, either Saturday or Sunday. I always went out probably about once a weekend, and but just the type of food that we ate, always at a seafood restaurant. That's it. Steakhouse or something like that. Either
Mm-hmm.
you would never just catch us at the Italian restaurant. You wouldn't just catch us at the Asian restaurant or a buffet or anything like that. You wouldn't just get those were our main things. So when I got to culinary school, there was so many different things that just opened me up to eat so many, to different things. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of those, I was like, with my son, you know, his pal, my family, they'll just, oh, he just as bougie as your mama. Well, his mama a chef. So yeah, he gonna eat a little bit of everything. You better believe he like his cuts of filet. Like he don't, oh, y'all only eat we eat filet. That's the best cut on it. That's the best cut of steak. That's what we eat. And again, because that's what we've acquired. That's the taste that we've acquired. Just putting him on to different things and taking him, being able to give him those experiences to take him different places, so that he knows like it's a whole world outside of here. Like it's a whole
Yes.
world outside of here.
Marisa, she going to Paris. When is it? End of the year or next year?
Oh, awesome.
Yes, in
Awesome.
October. So going for the right
Mom, that's my birthday month.
October is my favorite. It's my next to February. October is my favorite month because I love fall. I love the
I
fall.
love the color
Me too.
changes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
do.
too.
When's your birthday in October?
The 29th.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's Scorpio. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So listen, we have been going a lot longer than an hour.
We have.
But
Yeah.
because the conversation is needed. And I always say, whoever watches, let them watch, because
Right.
we need to have this conversation, especially in our community, when you talk about diversity and you talk about coming outside the neighborhood and thinking outside the box. I can remember when my children, and we are going to close out, but I can remember when my children were small and they had to come with me to get my nails done. Well, they didn't watch me get my nails done. They got pedicures and they got manicures. And the attendant would look at me and I was like, oh, yeah, they're not going to watch their mom be treated well. They're going to be treated well along with their mother. So it's normal for my children to have their nails done, to have their hair done. It's normal for them. My daughter, when I think she was in middle school, she liked Coach pocketbooks. So we would go to Freehold Mall, New Jersey, because we could afford Coach and we could afford Coach from the store. And so when she found out that it was those same pocketbooks were on Delancey Street in New York for $25 instead of $400, she didn't want Coach at all. She went to secondhand stores and she buys secondhand, not because she has to, but she understands the value, right? So she understands the value, but she had exposure on all ends so that she can make her own decision on how she wants to shop, etc. My kids eat Japanese, they eat Chinese, they eat sushi, they eat Indian cuisine. We have tapped on it all.
Absolutely.
And my children have traveled I'm the first one traveling internationally, but my children have traveled internationally to give them a broader perspective, right? Because we want our children to do better than we do.
Absolutely.
So we have to venture out. And so that is being empowered, is being empowered so that we can make different decisions, not necessarily better, but just have a variety of options as opposed to being limited. And so, like I said, we could go like we don't even. I'm listening. I'm like, ain't nowhere to cut in here because we just going in. Because let me tell you, then that means that there's a need. And Chef Diva, I need to have you on Friday night for the Sweetheart Before I Say I Do platform, because you got to talk about that. That love relationship aspect of it, because we talk about that on Fridays. And we need to have more of a conversation. And I believe that it needs to be more of us in the conversation so that we can hear consistency in patterns with our men, consistency in patterns with our women, and we can confront those issues and then hopefully come to a place where we can have more healthy, loving love and romantic relationships. That's the goal at the end of the day. Can we have a peace of mind, and can we really, really begin to enjoy?
That's the one right there.
Enjoy one another. I'm going to let you guys, you ladies, have your closing thoughts. This is the platform I Am a Woman Empowered 2 anthology. We are super excited. When does the book drop? When do you release?
So we actually are #1 bestsellers. We did the best-selling price. So we're actually that. And so this week we should be ready we're in pre-order status. So we'll be able to order books and get out to all of our people who have pre-ordered. So yes, we are there. And then we're actually going to do a 10-city tour. And so the first leg, of course, will be in Atlanta. It's going to be on April the 2nd. So all of this is leading up to that. And then hopefully we can get out there with Chef Diva and get us some tamales and do some different things.
You know y'all got to come to Texas. You already
come to Texas, honey. Look what they say, where it's big. Look, if it ain't big, it can't be in Texas. So we got to be in Texas.
We do it big in Texas.
You do it big in Texas. So we got to be there. But we'll kick it off April the 2nd, and then, maneuver through the United States and different places so people can get a chance. And we just really want to, talk to women about these type of conversations, about knowing who you are and understanding that you have worth. And when you realize it, add tax, because I'm trusting and believing that up until now you've discounted yourself, so you deserve to add a little bit more to it at this time and be fierce, fabulous, and free.
Awesome. So what I want to do is, before we close out, we're going to take this commercial, and then I'm going to have Chef Diva, you say your closing remarks to our audience. But I want to share with how you can connect with Angela and I Shine podcast, I Shine through I Shine magazine, as part of because everything that Angela is doing is to increase visibility for women, that they not only are empowered through their writing, but they are empowered coming off of those pages and into our world. And part of that is with doing interviews. Part of that is having people featured in the I Shine magazine. And so here is Angela, and make sure that If you're interested in being interviewed and however that process is, get directly connected with Angela, and make it happen. There's so many different platforms. You got to get your messaging out there. You got to connect with people like yourself. When you talked about the eagle soars at such height that the air quality is different. The air quality and the skill set, mindset is a whole different ball game. So when you see the eagle, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see the eagle alone. And so those of you who are high achievers, you desire to level up. You're going to have to understand there are going to be huge periods and stretches of time when you are alone. But that is a good thing. That is confirming that you are someone who is destined for greatness and that you are soaring high. It is in those quiet, alone places God gets to, if you allow him and you're aware of it. God speaks to you in high volumes. Be ready, because the Holy Spirit is ready to give you a download, and you've got to be in a position to receive it. So here is the I Shine commercial. This sister is one bad diva. Please make sure it's coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Please make sure you connect with Angela A. Love Lewis and get on the iShine platform and connect with her and her people. They are phenomenal, and we love them so very much. Chef Diva, give us your closing remarks.
So my closing remarks, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me here, because you could have chose anyone else, but you chose to have me here, and you let me in late because I came in late. I didn't know I had the invite. So I thank you. It's always a great time, great conversation, just like catching up with old friends. Also, tamales are available, blackgirltamales.com. I am like, look, we starting out with the collard and the collard greens and smoked turkey, jerk chicken, and smothered pork chop. But the other ones, they are definitely following and coming. But we just gonna get started with those. So I'm super, super excited about it. I don't even. It's so elated, like super, super elated, just to know it's just going up. Like everything's just going up from there. So I just appreciate you ladies being on the journey with me and crossing your ladies' path.
And so we want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight. Be prepared. Reach out to Angela. You see her information on the ticker tape. I also dropped it in the comment section so you can go and pre-order your copy of I Am a Woman Empowered 2. This is a series and a collaboration of many women sharing their story, their glory story, and showing you ways that you can overcome obstacles in your life to live a fulfilling life. And so we want to just say thank you so very much. Have an amazing week. We are at the top of the week. You can make this. You can take center stage and own it all the way through. We are out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much.
Bye.